Can everyone hear me? I hope so. So, presentation called Publishing RDF Metadata in Dedicated Catalog or Catalogues. The problem is, I'm basically following up my previous presentation when I was presenting how to handle the problem that we have research data that differs a lot in details, and we need to cover it by some common metadata model. So the problem here is the same. We have the research data jungle, and in the research data jungle, we have multiple types of researchers which are researching different stuff, a lot of different stuff, and they are producing large amounts of datasets. And those datasets have a lot of stuff in common. For example, they have all labels, they all have authors, some dates, and so on. But in the end, a lot of the metadata for those datasets are specific. On the picture I have drawn here, we can see some information technician, some information sciences guy who has provided a lot of data sets and databases and so on. And he is speaking some kind of domain-specific language. And then we have another scientist who is looking at the atoms or some molecular biology, whatever. He's looking at the stars using the telescope, and he's also providing a lot of data, and he speaks different language in the matter of how does he describe his metadata, not that he's speaking Chinese or Martian or whatever. And then we have the third guy who's basically probably based in geography. He's producing maps, he's producing some information about the Earth, about some spatial stuff, and he's also producing a lot of metadata. And what we basically need is to find some common metadata model, which we were discussing last time at my presentation. And what are we discussing right now is that we need some catalog that does not ask whether the stuff you are putting it in is a picture, a map, some molecular statement or whatever. We just want to store it at one place. And we want it stored there because we have multiple requirements on that. On one side, we are looking for the requirements of the thematic dataset providers, which are basically that their customers or the users of the data, they need all the information that is required to fully understand the data. But on the other side, we have the governmental bodies, we have some legislation. For example, we can look for the WAVI, the Research and Development Organizations, or Ministry of Education, for example, that want to evaluate the research results in some way. So they need to get all the data from those catalogs at one place, and they need to look into it, they need to search it, and they most probably want to do dashboards or this kind of stuff. We have some anchor here in the form of DCAT. We have all agreed that it's much better to base these types of metadata on RDF vocabularies, so DCAT is one of them. So what we are looking for right now is the catalog that allows us to do this. And I was searching some of the catalogs. There is quite a lot of various catalogs. I have reached the pivot, so I will tell you something about the pivot today. Pivot has some stuff that helps us quite a lot with what we need. First of all, it is DCAT based, running over RDF repositories and database. It allows the interoperability. The reason for that is the same as for the DCAT, that we have some repository behind it, and that repository allows us to create various models. The thing is that all of them are just somehow back to the DCAT, and that allows us to upload any kind of data that are extensions of DCAT, and we can search in there. Then we have the scalability. The scalability in this case is in searching and indexing. Pivot supports indexing using Elasticsearch, I think. We have the virtual database behind it. And it also, in some cases, allows us to create the dashboards in using some of the architecture part of the pivot. So, and then it allows harvesting. It's basically based on harvesting, so that makes us to create some catalogs, and we can also create the catalogs that already exist somewhere, and then harvest the metadata from there into the pivot catalog, which is located on localhost or on some server we are using right now. So I think that basically this is a good stuff to use for DCAT-based metadata. Definitely better than to use some metadata catalogs or some dataset repositories which are used in research right now as metadata catalogs. And I present this as an alternative to that. So harvesting is based on the idea that all of the researchers or the institutions, they have their own local catalogs where they store their data and their metadata. And what we do is that we just harvest their metadata from their local catalogs to our catalog, and we can search there and do whatever we want. Okay, we have the Pivot Hub, which is the main architectural part of the Pivot solution that basically is doing almost everything through the RESTful API. It allows us to somehow manage the URI. This slide is boring because I'm basically reading everything, but sometimes it's necessary to do this. It is connected to the catalogue, which also is quite useful. Control vocabulary integration, it means that we can reuse existing vocabularies to use them in the metadata profiles that are uploaded into the catalog. And we can reuse the existing controlled vocabularies, and we can also create the new controlled vocabularies that will be used in the metadata profiles by the catalog. And there's also the single page application front end, some user interface. It's quite simple, but basically everything is based on the API. And the used technology, as I already mentioned, there is Elasticsearch for indexing and Virtuoso as a triple store. For harvesting, there is Vertex Java framework, and for the RDF data management, there's Apache Jena used. So quite known technologies for us. And I want to show the three levels of our architecture here. So basically, we are using the Pivot Hub for the data storage, the Pivot Hub repo. Then we have Pivot Consoles, which is used for harvesting, and Pivot UI, which is basically the front end, what the users see, users that are browsing the metadata in the catalogs. Everything else is done basically using the API. I wanted to mention something else here, probably not. So let's go further. And this is how the architecture looks like in the more detail. Basically, the consoles contains the scheduler, the importer, the transformer, the exporter. It serves as the tool to get the data from the original sources to the hub. It allows different technologies to transfer the data, starting from CCAN, RDF, SparkQL, and also the OAIPMH protocol, which is quite widely used right now in the research data, which is quite important right now. And here we have two UIs, which are accessing the two tools or the two essential parts of the architecture, the hub and the metrics. So the hub basically serves as the repository, and it has the search tools to search data very effectively using the indexing. It also uses the translations. And then we have the metrics, and the metrics is used for validation and for some reporting, and it allows users to do the aforementioned statistics and yeah, some statistical dashboards, for example. That's it. And we have the entity access management, as I mentioned already. This is provided by the catalogue. Catalogue. So what is basically the flow in this usage? So basically we have the source data sets on the left side, which comes from the thematic clusters, let's say. Then we have the harvesting. Then we have the UI and searching on the third place. And from the search metadata and from the metadata we have searched somehow effectively, we can do some statistical dashboards, which is the last step. And right now I can go a little bit more technical, I think. So basically it's all decorized. If you look at the GitLab, they have this repository with pivot.compose. So it contains the quick start directory, in which you have the Docker Compose YAMLs for. Yeah, I made a mistake here. I have copied those two things twice. Of course, there's Docker Compose Hub and Docker Compose Census for harvesting. And the hub is running at the port 81 localhost, at port 80, that's the UI. The port 83 is designated for the search and for the indexes. So basically, this is what we find when we look at this localhost 81, and we get basically the tutorial for how to use the API to get to manage the catalogs, manage the data, manage the harvesting, and so on. The easiest thing we can do right now is to register some catalog. In this case, we are using the put request with some API key. The bad thing about the pivot is, as usual, the documentation. The documentation is really very poor, and I'm not really sure that without the help of AI, I would be able to make this presentation on time. Because, for example, how to find out which is the API key and how to find it, and how to basically enable it or disable it, is not really very well described in the documentation. Basically, this is part of the Docker Compose file, and I wouldn't know without getting there using AI. So basically, we're uploading some data, and this data is basically the turtle file. The turtle file contains the information about the catalog. So here we can see that I have created the catalog, which is called Gov data with German language, with some titles, description, and so on. And at this location in the catalogs, we can see the list of the catalogs which are already uploaded there. I can look if we can see that. Localhost, yes. So I've already uploaded more catalogs. So I have KBSS catalog, I have the data.gov UK, I have KBSS catalog. Okay, twice. I have it twice. And I can try to use this Gov Gov data catalog, this German one, as I showed in the presentation. Just how to upload it. Where am I? Yeah. So I would like to upload. The Gov data catalog. So it's I'll be uploading this for uploading data. Dataset. Yeah, this is basically that I'm using the curl with the put request. I want to create a new catalog which will be called Gov data, and the content type is the text structure. The XAP is your API key, and the data binary which I will be using is data gov.ttl. And as I run this, it's not data gov, it's gov data, sorry. So we can see that something happened. If I check the catalog list right now, I would probably see that I have the gov data here right now, which is okay. It's this was probably indexed from the previous one, so it's already harvested with some data. But I wanted to show you how to upload the data as the next step. Using the API, we have basically two options. First option is to start harvesting, immediately trigger the harvester. So we are doing that using the trigger in the pipes. It also has the pipes as the part of the pivot environment. So we are immediately triggering the harvester on this catalogs. So it starts to harvesting. The quite difficult thing is how to find out when the harvesting ends. So when we are looking for the status, one would say that we can check the status of the harvesting, but it gives us the status of the pivot hub. So we just have to basically wait until the logs stops to give us some information. Or we can do another thing. We can create a catalog, which is the other example. The creation of catalog is the same as we were doing for the data for the Gov data catalog. So I tried to create some catalog which is called KBSS cat, and now just put the data using the API. So you just upload the data using the data binary in the put request. You just have to define in which catalog you want to upload the data. You are doing that in here by saying or stating it using the URL of this as the parameter that the catalog is KBSS cat. And in here we have two GET requests. Here the first GET request is how to get the data, and the second is the index in the Elasticsearch. We can look at the first one. What does it return? So I'm going to curl. Okay, that was probably just nice. I doesn't remember. I will try to write it from scratch. So curl get http localhost 8081. This is also important to know which port to use, because the specific parts or specific tools of the pivot environment are running on different ports. So we're looking for dataset, and we want the example dataset which was created. And if I run this, could not resolve host get. What?
Just remove. Okay.
Yeah, there was the mistake. Sorry, there was the mistake in the address. So I just get the content of the data set, of the metadata in here. So and this is how does it look like in the catalog itself. So I just look into the catalog, which is here. So here I'm looking into the catalogs, and I can look into the key basis catalog, and I see that I have this example dataset uploaded here. And if I click it, I can see the information. I can download it in some distributions where this allows to download, or I can get the data in various serializations of RDF. And there is quite a lot of more complicated stuff that can one do with the pivot. But my presentation ends here, because we could stay here also for much longer time. But I just wanted to show you that we have a suitable tool, a suitable catalog that allows us to work with the RDF data, and allows us to include data that are not only in specific DCAT format, but supports also the extensions of the DCAT. So I can basically create a profile as I want it, and I can also control create and manage the control vocabularies here, and I have the large possibilities or capabilities of searching the data, indexing the data, and creating some statistics and reports. So that's all from my side today, and I just wanted to make it up to 15 minutes, which I didn't manage anyway. But right now there's time for discussion. So thank you for listening.
Can it also harvest the data from URL, or do you have to upload the data set directly as a file?
No, you can just get it from the catalog or from the URL as well. You just need to have the turtle file that specifies the catalog, and you can harvest it from the catalog. And if you have the data somewhere on the internet, you don't right now like this. This is what I'm uploading. This is what I'm harvesting.
Oh, so the TTL file is just a description of the data set, and it gets the data set based on URL specified in the TTL.
Yes.
Okay. So I misunderstood this. That's
there are two options. I can put the data directly using the turtle file with the metadata, or the second option is the harvesting. So I can just here I can define the details of the catalog that is already somewhere and that has some metadata inside, and then I have to run the trigger that starts harvesting. When I was showing this slide, this one, the harvesting, there is the internal tool called Pivot Consus, and this one is dedicated for the harvesting. So this Pivot Consus allows all of these stuff. You can harvest data from URLs, you can harvest metadata from existing catalogs, or you can just put the territory files from your local system or from somewhere else on the internet. That's all possible. I just think that the worst thing about this all is the documentation, because it has the steep curve, I would say. It expects you to understand a lot of stuff. Do you have some other questions?
Okay, maybe I will ask. So you can store data as well there, right? Do I understand it correct?
Yes, it's also possible.
Like you can store there, for example, video files and stuff like that. Where it is stored? Like in what kind of repository?
Yeah.
Michal said it.
Yeah, but you don't store video in Virtuoso.
There is also the data storage here.
RDF, I understand RDF is in Virtuoso, but what about the content?
There's also the content where it is stored.
Yeah, for example, if I want to upload video file, or I don't know, some Excel tables, whatever.
No, sorry, I didn't get into this type of this kind of detail yet.
Okay.
So this is not something I'm able to answer for you right now. Sorry, but there is also some UI, data provider interface that allows you to store the data, and this is just the interface, but there has to be some storage behind that. So this is data storage, and I would say it's probably stored. It makes sense to store something in the Virtuoso.
Yeah.
But definitely, when I was going through the documentation, I have seen it multiple times that it is perfectly possible to store also the data. But I do not really think that this is the key part of the catalog, because I think the metadata catalog should harvest. I think the best usage of metadata catalog, the original or the essential usage of the metadata catalog, is that the data are stored effectively on the place where they were created. So basically, in the place in the organization of the research organization that have created the data, and they also have their metadata catalog over there, over the data, and the data stays where they are. And you are using this catalog just to harvest the information about the data from their catalog, and you are just accessing the data where they are. So you are not copying the data from somewhere else. But it is possible to store the data here somewhere, but I'm not really sure where.
Yeah, the documentation says that you can store data with S3 or file system. So it's either on Amazon S3 or on the file system.
As I understand it, S3 is some simple database. Is it right?
It's a cloud blob storage.
Okay. But I don't really think that this should be used as you are creating a large catalog and all the data you are storing here. I don't really think this makes sense from the architectural point of view.
No, I think that's for, as Mira asked, for like if you upload binary files to it, then you can have them stored on S3.